this morning from the campground. Last night we all slept pretty well. Didn't have any issues with bears or anything. We had all of our food locked away and the bears safe, so we weren't too worried about much. But we got on the road very quickly because we're trying to get to a trailhead. Supposedly a trailhead where you will see a lot of wildlife. That's within Yellowstone. And unfortunately, it was about a 2 hours, 45-minute drive from our campsite. So we wanted to get there at 8 or so. Early morning hours is when wildlife is most active. So we are going to get there as early as possible and hopefully show you guys a great variety of wildlife. Just started this hike in the Lamar Valley. This is the hike where we're supposed to be able to see lots of wildlife. We are in bearatory. That's our word for bear territory. And got the bear spray holstered right here, so we're ready to fend off any attacks that may come our way. It should be fun, and this will not be a complete experience unless we fully discharge our can of bear spray. So we really hope that we get charged. Hello, we are currently on this hike and we have kind of stumbled upon a herd of buffalo. I mean, just a little taste of what we're seeing right there, but you know, that doesn't even cover the half of it. Check this out, just buffalo everywhere. You see little mommies, babies.
There's one giving birth over
and
there.
Yes, there's also one over there giving birth. So yeah, if you haven't heard from us in a long time, pun intended, you might want to check on us. Looks like we're splitting the herd. Look at these guys, they're just all lined up there like on the ridge ready to charge. So yeah.
It's time for your quick trip tips with Travis. Today's quick trip tip is make sure you bring a pair of usable binoculars on your trip, because then you can see wildlife from a distance. We brought a pair, but they are not very usable. They are broken. But then you can see wildlife in the distance. We saw 2 bears. One was a really far ways away. We couldn't see it. So if we would have had good binoculars, we would have been able to see it.
And identify what kind of bear it was.
Exactly. So that's your quick trip tip with Travis. finished our hike in Lamar Valley. It was a pretty epic hike. As you can kind of see in some of our videos, there's a lot of wildlife, especially on the way there when it was early in the morning. We had to walk through that herd of buffalo, which is pretty sweet. We saw 2 bears, and one of them came running down the hill in front of us, so that was kind of intense. The other one was kind of a ways off, but we got to see 2 bears, a ton of buffalo, a whole bunch of elk, some deer, some squirrel-looking thingies. So there's all sorts of wildlife, so that was pretty fun. Anyway, so now we're done, and we're back in the car. We ate some beef sticks and stuff, and now we are driving through Yellowstone. I think we're going to stop at Old Faithful and maybe some other geysers or some like, yeah, hot spring type of stuff. But then we're just kind of heading through the park towards the south entrance so we can head down and find a campsite down there eventually. But for now, we're going to drive through the park and just check things out. So, see you later. So we've been sitting in a traffic jam for about the last like 30 minutes or so, and we've been trying to figure out what in the world was causing this big jam. We've just been like slowly inching down the highway, and it's been taking quite a while, and we finally figured out what was the cause of this traffic jam. Let's see if we can get a video of it quick. Basically, there's about 20 bison that are just walking down the highway, taking up the entire highway. There's probably about 20 bison, including like their kids and stuff. And they're just making every effort to make sure they cover the entire highway so no one can pass. And they're just walking along, enjoying themselves, and everyone else is trying to find a way through. See, we're just about to the front, so we'll try to get a video when we get there. Here's our bison friends walking on down the road. Hope they're having a good time. If I reach out and touch that thing. Hello, mister. These guys are not very courteous drivers. They're not going off at the pull-offs to let the traffic pass. See their little baby up there. Oh, they're crossing in front of us. Semis are trying to get these guys out of here by driving and honking their horn.
To the Old Faithful geyser, and it was pretty neat. We walked right up to the geyser and looked over, and we got an Old Faithful of water. It was pretty cool though. We didn't actually look into it. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? We just had one of the most epic experiences of the trip, probably. So we're just driving towards our campsite, kind of not really paying attention, when all of a sudden there was like big traffic signs and rangers directing traffic and like hundreds of stopped cars. And then when we finally pulled by, we saw probably like 400 super high power cameras all shining in on one spot. We had no clue it was even there. We couldn't see anything. So anyway, we pull over, talk to some people, and apparently the most famous grizzly bear in the entire world, Grizzly 399, which lives in Grand Tetons, was sitting there. She's 24 years old, which is really old for a grizzly bear, and she had 4 cubs, which is a lot of cubs for a grizzly bear. So, most famous grizzly bear in the world, really old, and 4 cubs, and we got to see it in person at Grand Tetons National Park. It was pretty cool. So people have been tracking it since early this morning. They saw it kill a baby elk, I think, and then they were watching it eat it and feed it to the cubs. And then it just been sitting there in a tree for about 4 or so hours is what the cameramen were telling us. And we were there for about 30 minutes and we saw it get up and walk back into the trees, and we got to see 399 and then her 4 cubs following right behind her. It was a pretty cool experience. Just to know that we saw the most famous grizzly bear in the world on this trip was pretty epic, but it's probably one of the highlights of the trip, but it was pretty cool, and we're glad we stuck around to see it because we're kind of running late to our campsite now, but I think it was worth it. So we'll let you know when we get to a campsite, but that was just too cool to wait.
What's up, everybody? We are in our tent now. We found a campsite at a campground and near the Grand Tetons. So there's supposedly a lot of grizzly bears around here, which we've said that for the past 8 campsites, but this one I think is probably our highest risk one yet, because we've seen some grizzlies today and there's a lot of signs posted that is scaring us. So we have a bear spray again. You can see it up there. Yeah, tonight we just cooked brats, had some Pop-Tart s'mores, or s'more Pop-Tarts, and then the plan for tomorrow is to go hiking with our cousin Alyssa, and I think we have a hike picked out. It's supposedly really steep, so hopefully we don't get blown out of the water by her, because she's a professional hiker. Kind of. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, but that's the plan, and we are going to go to bed and get a good night's rest. So thanks for watching and have a great night.